Hello, I'm Adam Newman. This is my official YouTube channel. Please subscribe and support us.
The Young and the Restless spoilers. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today is just a really heavy day in the soap world. We have a lot to unpack, and honestly I am just emotionally exhausted from watching this all play out. So let us just get right into the breakdown of what happened, because it is a lot to process and my brain is still spinning from the sheer tragedy of it all. So Lily Winters summons Devon and Nate to society. And you know, when a meeting happens at society, it is either a corporate takeover or a massive family disaster. But this time it feels different. Lily is sitting there at the table and she just looks so incredibly tired. She has this massive weight on her shoulders because she knows exactly what she is about to do. She is about to drop a bomb that will change the Winters family forever. And she is doing it while carrying a secret that is literally eating her alive inside. The lighting in the restaurant is bright, but her mood is just pitch black. She is fidgeting with her hands, waiting for the guys to show up, just dreading the conversation. Then Devon and Nate walk in. They are probably expecting some kind of Chancellor Winters business update, or maybe some new drama about Mariah and the legal mess Devon is currently wrapped up in. But no, they see Lily, and then they see someone else sitting there. Holden Novak is there, and Nate and Devon are just completely thrown off. Why is Holden here? He is not part of the inner circle. He is this outsider who just kind of crashed into their lives recently. So Devon gives that classic Devon look. The one where his jaw tightens and he is trying to figure out the puzzle before anyone speaks. And Nate is just looking analytical, trying to read the room and figure out why this random guy is sitting at a family meeting. They all sit down at the table. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a steak knife. Nobody really wants to make the first move, but Lily has to. She takes a deep breath, and she just blurts it out. The raw, unfiltered truth. Malcom Winters is Holden Novak's biological father. Just like that, the words are out in the open, floating over the white tablecloths at society, and the silence that follows is deafening. You can practically hear the ice melting in their water glasses. It is just a massive shock to the system for everyone sitting there. Devon is just staring at her, because think about Devon's history for a second. He knows what it is like to be the unexpected child, the one who comes into a wealthy, powerful family from the outside. He was a foster kid before Neil took him in, so on one hand he probably feels a tiny bit of empathy for Holden, but on the other hand this is Malcom we are talking about. Malcom, who has always had this complicated, chaotic energy. Devon is trying to process the timeline in his head, trying to figure out how Malcom kept this hidden or if he even knew about Holden at all. And his brain is just misfiring. He cannot make sense of it. And Nate, oh man Nate, he is sitting there, and his doctor brain is probably short-circuiting right now. Nate is all about logic and facts and medical records. And suddenly he is looking at Holden and realizing they share blood, that this random guy with a rocky past is tied to the pristine Winters legacy. Nate has had so many issues with his own family lately, alienating Devon and Lily over corporate greed, trying to claw his way back into their good graces. And now the family tree just grew a whole new branch, a branch nobody asked for. Nate just blinks. He does not even know what to say. He is just staring at Holden like he is an alien species. But here is the really messed up part about this whole scene. Lily is telling them this massive truth, but she is hiding an even bigger one. She gives them the details about the paternity, how they found out, the absolute shock of it all, but she completely leaves out the part about Malcom dying. She does not tell them that Malcom desperately needs a bone marrow transplant. She just sits there and lies by omission, because she is terrified. She is probably hoping that if she does not say it out loud it will not be real. Or maybe she is just trying to protect them from the sheer panic she has been living with. But it is clunky. Her explanation has holes, and you can tell she is holding back tears the entire time. So Holden is sitting there taking all this in. He feels the stares. He feels the heavy judgment. He knows Devon and Nate are looking at him like he does not belong there. It is so awkward. He is a grown man, but right now, he probably feels like a little kid who walked into the wrong classroom by mistake. He knows they need to talk about this without him. They need to process the fact that he is Lily's half-brother and Malcom's son. So he does the only thing he can do in that situation. He excuses himself. He stands up and mutters something about needing a drink or needing some air, and he just walks away from the table, leaving the three of them to deal with the messy fallout. He walks away and it is just this heavy lonely walk across the restaurant. Holden has always been on the outside looking in, and even now that he has the bloodline he still does not have the family. He is a Winters by DNA but not by history. He does not have the Thanksgiving dinners or the childhood memories of Neil and Drusilla. He just has this sudden biological link to a man who is currently fighting for his life, a man he barely even knows. He goes over to the bar area, just needing a minute to breathe, to escape the intense glaring eyes of Devon Hamilton and Nate Hastings, because it is just too much pressure for one guy to handle. And that is exactly when Holden runs into Stephanie, Dr. Stephanie Simmons. She is at Society 2, probably taking a break from her own nostalgic trip down memory lane after running into Nate earlier. Holden starts talking to her, and he is actually really surprised, because Stephanie does not look at him with disgust. She does not have any preconceived notions about who he is. In fact, Holden realizes that Nate did not badmouth him to her at all, which is shocking, because Nate has a big mouth sometimes and loves to judge people. But Nate actually kept his opinions to himself, and Holden is genuinely taken aback by that tiny sliver of respect from Nate. So Holden just starts venting to Stephanie. He just opens up and starts dumping all his insecurities on her. He admits that he has a really rocky past, that he has made a lot of mistakes, that he has rubbed people in Genoa City the wrong way since he got here. He tells her straight up that he is an outsider, that he does not belong in this shiny wealthy world of legacy families and corporate billionaires. He is just a guy who found out his dad is a famous photographer with a massive complicated family. And he feels so small right now. Stephanie just listens, because she is a doctor and she knows how to listen to broken people. And Holden is definitely a broken person right now. Meanwhile, back at the table, Devon and Nate are just grilling Lily. They want to know everything. They are asking about Malcom. Where is he right now? How is he handling this crazy news? What does this mean for the family dynamic moving forward? And Lily is just sweating bullets. She is dodging questions left and right, giving half answers, trying to keep the conversation focused strictly on Holden and not on Malcom's failing health. But Devon is smart. He knows when Lily is lying. He has known her his whole entire life. He can see the panic in her eyes, the way she is gripping her water glass so tight her knuckles are turning white. He knows something is wrong. They start talking about Malcom, the history of the man, because Malcom has always been the wild card of the family. He was the charming photographer who stole hearts and made massive mistakes. He was the guy who slept with Drusilla and fathered Lily in secret all those years ago. So in a way, history is just repeating itself with Holden. Malcom has this bad habit of leaving a trail of complicated children in his wake. Devon and Nate are trying to reconcile the uncle they love with the man who kept this massive secret. And Lily is just sitting there, knowing that the man they are talking about is currently dying. And then it happens, the moment that shatters everything into a million pieces. Lily's phone rings. It is a loud, obnoxious ringtone that just cuts right through the heavy tension at the table. She looks down at the caller ID and her face just drains of all color. She goes completely pale like she just saw a ghost. It is Malcom. She knows she cannot answer this call in front of Devon and Nate. She cannot let them hear this conversation because then the secret will be out. So she abruptly stands up. She mumbles a quick excuse and practically runs away from the table, leaving Devon and Nate staring after her in total absolute confusion. Lily finds a quiet corner away from the dining room. Her hands are shaking so badly she can barely swipe the screen to answer the call. She puts the phone to her ear. And Malcom's voice is on the other end, but it is weak. It is so weak. It is not the booming, charismatic voice of Malcom Winters that we all know and love. It is the voice of a man who has completely given up. And he tells her the news, the absolute worst news possible. The twins are not a match, neither of them. The bone marrow test came back negative. And not just them. Nobody is a match. The search is over. They have exhausted every single option, every registry, every family member. There is no hope left. Lily just collapses against the wall. The phone slips from her ear. She is sobbing. Deep, ugly, guttural sobs that she cannot control, because she knows exactly what this means. It means her dad is going to die. The man who raised her, the man who loved her, the man who made so many mistakes but always tried to make it right in the end. He is out of time. The desperate search for life has officially failed. All the scheming, all the panic, all the hope, it is all just gone, wiped out by a single devastating phone call. She is hyperventilating, trying to catch her breath in the hallway of a fancy restaurant while her entire world ends. The scene cuts. We are no longer at society. We are in the hospital room, or maybe a hospice room. It is sterile. It smells like bleach and despair and impending death. And they are all there. Lily, Devon, Nate, and Holden. They rushed over as soon as Lily told them the terrible truth. The awful terrible truth that she had been hiding all day. Devon and Nate are completely shell-shocked. They went from finding out about a new family member to finding out they are losing a patriarch in the span of just a few hours. The emotional whiplash is just brutal. They are standing around the bed, looking at Malcom. Malcom looks so fragile. This man who used to be larger than life. The guy with the camera and the massive smile who used to light up every single room he walked into. He is just a shadow now. The machines are beeping softly in the background. It is that slow rhythmic beat that just counts down the final seconds of a human life. Holden is standing at the foot of the bed. He just found his father. Literally just found him today. And now he has to watch him die. It is the cruelest joke the universe could ever play on a person. To give them a family and then immediately rip it away forever. Holden's face is just a mask of pure and filtered agony. They all move closer to the bed. It is this unspoken agreement between the four of them. They need to touch him. They need to anchor him to this world for just a few more seconds. Lily takes his right hand. She is crying so hard she cannot even speak words anymore. She is just pressing his hand against her wet cheek, feeling the warmth of his skin while she still can. Devon steps up and puts his heavy hand on Malcom's shoulder. Devon, who has lost so many people in his life. Neil, Hillary, now Malcom. The grief is just piling up on him like heavy bricks, and he looks like he can barely stand up. Nate takes his other hand, the brilliant doctor who cannot fix this. The surgeon who is completely powerless against death. And then Holden steps forward. He reaches out and gently touches Malcom's arm. He does not know what to say. He does not have years of beautiful memories to flash back to. He just has a few brief awkward conversations and a positive DNA test. But the connection is real. You can feel it in the room. Blood calling to blood. Holden is crying silently. The tough guy outsider just completely broken down by the bedside of a dying man. They are all linked together in this tragic circle of grief. For people united by the fading heartbeat of Malcom Winters. It is just so sad to watch. And then the breathing changes. It gets shallower. The space between the breaths gets longer and longer. It is the death rattle, that awful sound that haunts you forever once you hear it in real life. Lily squeezes his hand tighter, as if she can physically keep his soul inside his body by just holding on hard enough. But she cannot. Nobody can stop this. Malcom lets out one final slow exhale. And then he just stops. He stops breathing. The machine flatlines. A solid, continuous, terrible tone rings out in the room. The sound of an absolute ending. Malcom Winters is gone. He is really truly gone from this world. The silence that follows the nurse turning off the loud machine is heavy. It presses down on them like a physical weight. Lily just buries her face in the hospital blankets and wails. It is a sound of pure heartbreak that just tears right through you. Devon closes his eyes tight, and the tears just silently stream down his face. He looks up at the ceiling. Maybe looking for Neil up there, hoping Neil is there to welcome his brother on the other side of the veil. Nate just stares blankly at the blank wall. His medical mind processing the biological cessation of life while his human heart just shatters into a million pieces inside his chest. And Holden, poor Holden, he just backs away from the bed slowly. He looks completely lost and terrified. He finally found where he came from. He finally found his roots. And the tree just died right in front of him. He isn't tethered again, floating in the wind without an anchor. A Winters by blood but an orphan all over again. He looks at Lily and Devon and Nate. They share a massive history that he will never ever be a part of. He is just the secret child left behind in the wreckage of Malcom's life. It is so tragically poetic in a really sick, twisted way. He got a dad for 5 minutes, and now he has a corpse. So what happens now? What happens to Chancellor Winters after this? What happens to this fractured family? Malcom was the last real connection to the old guard. With Neil gone and now Malcom gone, the younger generation is completely on their own. They have to navigate this massive corporate empire and this messy, dramatic family dynamic without their elders to guide them, and they have to do it while actively grieving. While dealing with the terrible fact that they failed to save him, that the bone marrow search was a complete bust, that all the money and power in Genoa City could not buy Malcom Winters another single day on this earth. And I am just sitting here typing this out and my hands are literally shaking on the keyboard, because this is the kind of storytelling that just guts you completely. It is raw and it is messy and it is so painfully human. The writers did not give us a miracle cure this time. They did not give us a last-minute donor swooping in to save the day at the 11th hour. They gave us reality, the harsh, cold reality that sometimes people just die. Sometimes the medical tests come back negative. Sometimes you find your dad just in time to say goodbye to him forever. It is brutal and it is dark, but it is real. So yeah, that is what happened today. A simple meeting at society turned into a literal death watch. A family expanded and contracted in the exact same day. Lily is broken beyond repair. Devon is grieving yet another father figure. Nate is helpless despite all his medical training. And Holden is alone again. The Winters family will never be the same after this tragedy. The landscape of Genoa City just lost a true legend. And we are all just left here watching the fallout on our screens, trying to process the fact that Malcom Winters is dead. Rest in peace, Malcom. You were a chaotic, beautiful mess, and the show will be so incredibly empty without you around.